What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the fight talk. I'm actually going to speed through this UFC 251 co-main between Alexander Volkanovski, the champ, in his rematch versus Max Holloway. And instead of getting into the background of both fighters, I'll just get into how I view this fight and what I expect to happen and what I think Max specifically needs to do if he wants to turn the tables in this rematch. Max had a lot of trouble in that first fight with leg kicks specifically. Volkanovski had faster, more sophisticated feet and rhythm, and he was absolutely splashing a variety of leg kicks to Max's lead left leg, to the point where Max decided to switch stances to southpaw and avoid taking more punishment on that left leg. Then he started taking punishment to the right leg, since that became the lead. Now Max is a volume puncher who's accustomed to moving forward, pressuring, and using his length and combination ability to just overwhelm opponents. He's very tall and long for his weight class too, which provides him a lot of built-in advantages. The problem here is that Volkanovski is making sure that he keeps Max off rhythm while timing Max planting his leg to then whip another leg kick, or will throw punches up top as Max begins to lean forward trying to protect his body and legs. I don't see that changing too much if Max fights a similar style in the rematch. Volkanovski's feet and nuanced timing and his ability to use his legs to cover a lot of ground while staying well balanced and explosive, not to mention his physical strength and deceptive reach. These all give Max a lot of problems, especially in those first 3 rounds. And Max usually likes to split the opponent's timing as well and use his long arms to start scoring with accurate punches. The problem here is that blow for blow, Max can't afford to trade jabs for leg kicks. Blow for blow, those leg kicks seem to take a much greater toll on Max than his pot shots were taking on Volkanovski. So what I'm wondering here, strategically, is why doesn't Max fight Volkanovski in the way that Anthony Joshua, the boxer, fought Andy Ruiz in their second fight? Is Max so hardwired that he can only engage his opponents in typical Max fashion? Can he fight moving backwards and circling? Make Volkanovski come to you, circle and throw a jab at a time, maybe a 1-2 and an occasional 1-2-3 here and there. But keep in mind, when you start letting your hands go to throw combos, Volkanovski will plant and counter with a hard, accurate punch or kick. So throw one at a time and continue moving. Make Volkanovski overextend himself in trying to close the distance. He's the shorter fighter and has the shorter legs. Make him have to collapse the pocket as you back up. And then try splitting his timing during the moments that Volkanovski has to plant his feet. Also, check those leg kicks the best you can. But don't just come out and stalk the guy. That's what Aldo did. That's what Max did the first time. Volkanovski is too good at setting traps for that to be effective. Max should be very selective in the moments where he then flips the switch to let his hands go throwing combinations. Then go back to circling and pot-shotting as Volkanovski advances. Now the one issue that makes me question the potential effectiveness of this is that Max doesn't do a lot of kicking himself. So whereas in boxing, if you have a reach advantage, hand-wise, then you know that when the opponent is out of your striking reach, you're also out of your opponent's reach. Not the case here. Max doesn't throw a bunch of leg kicks. Volkanovski does. So Volkanovski being out of Max's boxing range doesn't necessarily mean that Max is out of Volkanovski's kickboxing range. And I don't know whether Max can improve the speed of his feet to be able to match or counter the foot feints that Volkanovski uses to set up those leg kicks. Max also needs to watch out for Volkanovski turning a leg kick up high, knowing that he's in Max's head with those leg kicks. Because all it takes is for Max to guess wrong one time, and you could have a John Jones to DC-like game-changing head kick. Be prepared for Volkanovski trying to land that big one. If you're Max, you can't bite on the activity down low by dropping your hands and shoulders trying to protect your body and legs. Unfortunately, I don't think that Max will immediately be able to make the adjustments necessary to bridge this particular skill gap. Volkanovski also seems like the naturally stronger fighter body-wise, and I think that attrition might actually be setting in on Max a little soon. Although he's still only 28 years old, that's unbelievable. Max has done a lot of fighting already, super young, and his last 3 fights have each gone the 5-round distance. 2 of those were losses, to Dustin Poirier as Max tried jumping to 155, and then when he lost the title to Volkanovski. I don't doubt Max's guts, his will, his skill, or his abilities. I just think that this is a really bad matchup for a boxer who relies on volume. And the types of adjustments that I'm suggesting would be pretty radical for Holloway. And I don't think that you could totally retool your game in such a tight period of time. Fighters who've had nearly as much success as Holloway tend to go with what brought him to the dance. And I think that Max thinks that he could win this one by being Max and by fighting like vintage Max. But I think that beating Volkanovski for Max, who lacks the put your lights out type of power, would have to be to fight and I'm gonna make you have to come to me and find me type of fight. I'm picking Volkanovski to win by decision here, but I think that it'll be tougher to score because Max will be Max, and that'll get him close to victory here, but just shy of pulling it off. So let me know your thoughts on this fight. UFC 51 is so stacked, and to have this during the dark days of this pandemic is really something to be thankful for. I hope that at least that continues to go well. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the fight talk. I'm Woog, thanks for tuning in.